Comes into him, Dele Alli.
Revenge is in the air at Anfield for a heavy away defeat from earlier in the season, as it was 3 weeks ago in that memorable match against Manchester City. Now they try to do the same to Spurs, who took them apart at Wembley in October. Tottenham chalked up a similarly not too much for Manchester United.
Could come for Salah! Perfect start for Liverpool!
And when you've got Salah lurking, this is probably the outcome. And he expected to get it as strong as he did, and it's just taken the centre-backs out of the... It just looked as if there was no danger until that touch came through from Dyer. Well, this just adds to Tottenham's terrible record of conceding away from...
Ben Davis. The adjustment from Lovren. Burst of explosive pace and energy. Support from Robertson. And Sanchez fails to clear that out. Mane, 2 up with him.
Trying to get too clever. I don't know what he's thinking, because Mane's in the way, and it ran kindly for the Senegalese, and he just couldn't. Yeah, typically just when
Alexander-Arnold. Here's Milner.
It was always drifting away from Salah, and I know Lloris was concerned, but ultimately didn't need to be, even though he was stumbling and trying to get sure about it too. But the ball from Alexander-Arnold is exquisite to find Milner, and this little touch in a way is going to help.
Looping deflection, and Lloris was concerned about it.
Yeah.
Alexander-Arnold. Nice ball for Firmino.
When it is coming at you quite ferociously, this is hit with great pace, and obviously it needs much stronger. It actually came at him too quickly, because Alexander-Arnold.
Van Dijk's header. Oh, and then it comes for Dyer, and Tottenham, he was pulled.
Yeah.
Firmino, a bit of a ricochet. Salah with the free kick. Van Dijk
was the one closest to him, probably just looking over the shoulder for him, and he managed just to kind of lean back.
Swung long and diagonally by Henderson to Dejan Lovren. So possibilities here for Eriksen. Just beyond Dyer.
Mane for Salah, back for Mane, but not
James Milner, and he just gets his weight a pass totally wrong.
a very late goal to add to a very early one.
What a chance that was.
Nervy start by Tottenham that led to Liverpool taking the lead, and Salah reaching 20 Premier League goals for the misplaced pass by Eric Dyer. It was Mo Salah who fastened on to, but it hasn't got worse for Spurs since then.
James Milner. Lovren's header. Sanchez. Here's Southampton. Here's Son for Spurs. Karius blocks out for daylight. It comes to Ali.
And, never easy to control when they're bouncing up, but yeah, brave from the goalkeeper, and needed to be. And Van Dijk was the one who obliged in that. Very well done from Karius. That's really commanding. Pass on away was absolutely delightful.
Eriksen and Kane flags up again.
And he's the one, and because he stuck his foot out at it, that's why. Maybe it was both.
Tottenham about to call on Eric Lamella's services. Here's Dele Alli. Alexander-Arnold for Firmino. And the flag.
Call. And yeah, he certainly certainly tried to stay in line. I would have appreciated realising that, because
A couple of seconds before Lloris and Firmino came together. And from State Chamberlain arriving too. Firmino looking. Ericsson. Decisive from Karius. There's Wanyama. A rocket shot.
But I think he could have got more purchase on that Karius. But listen, there's still an awful lot to produce. Wanyama. You can argue that that's not a good punch. I thought maybe Wanyama has caught this absolutely plumb, and you don't hit them any better than that. That's
took it in his stride and just blasted.
Well, I think we can give
Alexander-Arnold. And there's Lloris. Oh, they're asking. Salah goes on though, and still.
Thought Lloris would smother it as he came out front post, and yet how good is this from Salah to stick a foot in case Salah was fouled. Once he latched onto this, there's a kind of a reluctance to really the Frenchman as he goes to ground, and really from looking like they were going to lose it, Liverpool now seem to have taken three extreme.
And now quite possibly a winning goal at the other end from Salah. Maybe not. And
he had a little kick up into his back once the ball bounces. Yeah, he cut him on the back of the leg. System has maybe influenced him. He certainly caught him.
The referee.
Moss initially felt that maybe Lamela was making the most of it and went down theatrically.
And this time, Kane is up to the task. A century of
He's picked this spot and he slopped. Yeah, and this time it's convincing.
Anfield in the most dramatic of finish,
with a lot of power. And a big point for
Alexander-Arnold. And there's Lloris. Oh, they're asking. Salah goes on though, and still.
Thought Lloris would smother it as he came out front post, and yet how good is this from Salah to stick a foot in case Salah was fouled. Once he latched onto this, there's a kind of a reluctance to really the Frenchman as he goes to ground, and really from looking like they were going to lose it, Liverpool now seem to have taken three extreme.
And now quite possibly a winning goal at the other end from Salah. Maybe not. And
he had a little kick up into his back once the ball bounces. Yeah, he cut him on the back of the leg. System has maybe influenced him. He certainly caught him.
The referee.
Moss initially felt that maybe Lamela was making the most of it and went down theatrically.
And this time, Kane is up to the task. A century of
picked this spot and he slopped. Yeah, and this time it's convincing.
Anfield in the most dramatic of finish,
with a lot of power.